So it's been a while since I've been able to create content, and one of the problems is I can't find the cord for this particular setup, so I can't turn my light on. But at the moment, I'm just cutting a cantaloupe, and I wanted to chat because a lot of stuff has happened since the last time I had a recording, a video, or even time. And a lot of things have changed since the last time I said hello to everyone. One of the things that has changed is that my family and I moved to a new location. So we are no longer in New York, but we are doing well and we're getting settled. And in time, it may become important where we are, but for the purposes of public consumption, it really isn't. If you follow me on my personal page, you'll catch glimpses of our new home. But on this page, or wherever this video shows up, it's not really important. What is important is why we chose to move and what that meant. And so in this little short video, I wanted to say hello. So hey, cut some cantaloupe and just talk to you for a minute. One of the reasons that I decided to move my family to a new location is because I was tired. I have been on a roller coaster since about 2016, up and down with various issues. Not all of them bad, not all of them great, but not all of them bad. But in the ensuing years of relocating our whole life in 2016 to New York, the many adventures since then a whole ass pandemic happening where we couldn't leave the house, and I was afraid for my child all the time because I didn't want him to catch something. I didn't want to catch something. What I realized in the past few years was just how exhausted I am and how difficult it was to jumpstart the next phase of life, because it just felt like, even though the pandemic ended, sort of, so much changed about who we are as people, about what we value as humans, about community, about life, and yet so much didn't change. Because though the pandemic supposedly ended, life really didn't, and still to some degree doesn't, feel as open and as safe as it used to. So I had to work through some of what it meant to struggle with the new reality. And I also had to come to terms with some of the things that I no longer cared to believe in. And this is really important. I'm a pretty spiritual person, and I've been very open about that over the years. And in the spiritual community, a lot of shit is excused because of spiritual bypassing. Now, I'm not going to, I need to make some space here. Sorry. I'm talking and not paying attention. I'm not going to talk about what happens in traditional religious communities because it's not my bailiwick anymore. I don't talk to I talk about it because I used to be about it, but I'm not about it. What I do talk about is the spiritual community, which that is a part of, but that is not my point of this video. My point of this video is that the pandemic was very enlightening in how it allowed people to really show their asses on some pretty interesting issues about real community building, about real personal responsibility, and about real human connection, and about love, and about light, and about all the BS that is espoused from so many places, from the pulpit to the crystal shop, and how that wasn't really true. I'm going to dig that out and eat it. How that wasn't really true when the chips were down and humanity had the opportunity to really help each other. Woo! That ship sailed with a quickness. And so it really allowed me to ask some questions about what is important when we strip away, because the pandemic allowed us to strip away the patina, when we shine out the the copper or the rust. What was left from people, and what was left is that we're really inherently selfish people, and that there are a lot of people who got lost in that shuffle. Because I know that I'm not the only person who looked around the spiritual community and was like, wow, this isn't spiritual community. This is a whole lot of bypassing and bullshitting. That's what this is. And again, I'm not speaking to religious communities because I'm speaking to the people that I talk to and to the people that are in the communities that I'm in. There was a reality that the how do I put it? The shine was off. People could no longer be. I don't want to cut myself. People could no longer pretend, or I guess they felt like they didn't have to pretend to be something that they weren't. And so, really, spiritual, love, light, all kinds of wonderful terminology that got used by people to bypass a lot of the ills of society and the incredible attitudes of people got exposed as hubris and patronizing condescension, which is really always what it was. And here's the thing, I still believe in the spiritual life. I still believe in the connection with the universe, and I still believe in a connection with something greater than myself. But gosh dang it, I sure did see a lot of people that I would not have expected get on the spiritual bypassing train and ride that sucker until it hit the wall. And being that it all happened under Trump, I also got to see aspects of people who I thought had a degree of compassion and common sense for their fellow human show that no, not really. I've only been saying that because I felt like I had to. So what did that take us to? It took us to me being really tired of dealing in the spiritual community for the past few years. And that led to me realizing that I was just really tired in general, because it wasn't just the spiritual community, it was a lot of communities showed their asses, right? A lot of folks showed their asses. And I also realized that I couldn't be the only person who realized that there are just too many gurus, too many influencers, too many people who know what's happening, who've never read a book about it, who know the best way for the world to heal when they haven't healed themselves, and who disparage and discard people who don't fit their narrative of how spirituality should work. None of this is new. None of these revelations were new. They just became so glaringly obvious. What time is it? Because I've got lunch plans. So I decided to make some changes in my life. Number one, I was tired of the environment that I was in. Physical environment. And that's one of the things I've always been preaching for years. The first thing that you can change about your life when you cannot change who you are is where you are. And honestly, changing where you are is probably going to make it easier to change who you are, because when you're no longer in a place where, just a moment, where you feel like you have to be a certain type of person, when you can shed what skin may have allowed you to keep shit together for survival sake, when you can shed that, then you can begin to ask the question of who am I going to be next? Like what do I want to be next, and who do I want to be next? And I want to keep this video short, but that kind of leads into what I'm starting now, which is called Women in Transition, Conversations with Dr. Sash. Hello. Doesn't this look amazing? And I'll be back on camera, but my hair is not done and I look a mess because I have to go get ready for lunch, for this late lunch, early dinner I'm going to. But I want you to know, if you are out there and the past few years have kicked your tail as a woman, especially a woman of color, especially a Black woman, and you're looking around and you're like, I am in a transitionary period where I am not sure what it means to be who I need to be for the next phase of my life, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me amongst the noise of the world right now, because there's so many things happening, right? But women, especially women of color, especially Black women, have inherently been told that we are only a certain way. We only exist as a certain caricature in a certain space. And it happens to me with friends who are very well-meaning, but who don't give me the agency to be my own person, because they need me to be the version of for them that I have always been. If you are in the space of going, who am I? And how do I find that? And what can I do next? Then I'm talking to you. And I'll be talking to you every Tuesday in Women in Transition Live. So that'll be coming. I just want to say hello. I'm here. I hope that this video finds whoever needs to find it. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and go take a shower and get pretty.